Satan is relentless. And though he may experience setbacks, he comes back with the counterattack until he's ultimately defeated by God. The fact is that Satan does go away for seasons, but they're seasons. There are times that the battle is fierce, and we get a break, but he comes back. And it's that moment when we feel lulled into complacency and we think everything is okay. That is when he has us exactly where he wants us, and he's ready to launch that counteroffensive. The fact is that Satan is relentless. He doesn't sit back on the sidelines. He is constantly moving. Every passage that we read of Satan in the Bible, he is always on the move. There is no passage that I know where he is sitting still. He's active, he's plotting, he's moving, he's working. Those who commit themselves to God's service will face the greatest force of his wrath and opposition. The moment that you say, I'm going to do the right thing, I'm going to take a stand for truth and what is right, I want to impact my generation for the cause of Christ, I'm going to pray for that soul to come to faith in Christ, I want to work with this individual, I want to invest in their lives, I want to see them discipled, I want to see them grow, I want to see them mature. The moment you step out, you step into the battle. There's a target. If you're sitting on the sidelines, then he's got you where he wants you. When you step out, that's where the battle begins. You know, I would never encourage a Christian to sit on the sidelines so that they won't face opposition. But I'd also never allow a Christian to think that the moment he steps out, he won't face opposition. You know, in your workplace, there may come a day when you have to speak the truth because you're put in that place. Everything was cool and everything was calm and there was no kind of issue. But the moment you're put in that position, the moment you speak the truth, you know what happens? The rage focuses on you. Where does that come from? It comes from Satan, who is committed to destroying God's work. If you're on the front of the line, you will face his opposition. And God's children are overcomers who persevere in a lifelong struggle. When I use the term persevere, I don't mean that Christians end their life perfect. I don't mean that Christians come to the end of their days and say, I've stopped sinning. No, the fact is that the Christian gets back up, he dusts himself off, and he puts his shoulder back to the plow. He stands up and he moves forward. I think of that passage in Proverbs that says, a just man falls 7 times, but he rises up again. The fact is, as God's people who are in the midst of the battle, when we get beat down, God will come alongside of us. He'll say, you can keep going. You can stand up. You can move forward. You can fight. And he'll give us the strength that we need. And then lastly, I say this, we need to think biblically about spiritual warfare. This section of the book of Revelation was written to explain the constant conflict between God and the world, and ultimately how he will deal with Satan. And folks, whether we like it or not as Christians, we will be caught in the midst of that struggle. I want to encourage you to be a person who trusts God in the midst of the battle. Don't quit. Don't stick your head in the sand and act as if it's not real and not true. Don't be arrogant and think you can do it in your own strength. Get up each day. Pick up those tools and those means that God has given you to be victorious and put them into practice.